I'm live on Facebook now, and I am recording for YouTube. So it is Friday. Harry, Biofeedback Resources International. I'm here in Ossining, New York at my office, and wanted to just go over a few different options on EMG electrodes, or we like to call them sensors. Okay, so there's a few different types, and they can be used for different purposes. They may be, you can use more than one type for whatever you're doing, but sometimes there's a better type for certain types of work. So this is one called a Triode, and it has the 3 electrodes on one pad. They're close together, and you can see they're arranged in a triangle, and so they're equal distance even though they're not in a straight line. Being that they're close together, that's what we would call a narrow placement. Narrow placement, the electrodes are closer together, so that means they're covering a smaller area of muscle, so it's going to be more specific to the location that they're covering than the surrounding area, especially if you're using a narrow filter, which is another thing we'll talk about more at another time. But basically that these electrodes or sensors are close together, equal distance. This is a narrow placement. It's more specific, used a lot more in rehab or physical therapy types of applications, maybe more than they would be used in stress management. Stress management, we're not as concerned with being very specific with the muscle that we're recording. In most cases, we want all the muscles to relax. If you're doing dynamic EMG work, you may want a person to contract specific muscles, and then you might be more interested in being more specific and using a narrow placement. So when you use this type, and in this case I am using the ProComp Infinity made by Thought Technology, and the type of preamplifier that they use looks like this. And so if we're using this type of triode electrode, we can unplug this extender cable, which we'll get into how you use that later, and you snap this directly in. So we just do that. We line this up, snap that in, and then this gets peeled off of the backing, exposing the actual electrode surface. And these are designed to be able to be used dry, so you don't have to put any gel on or cream, but we like to add some anyway. Let me find my cream here. So this is the type that I would use, and I just put a small amount on the surface of these. So that's about all I would put on, and I do that for all 3. And then you would just stick that on the area that you want to place it on. So it's one that would be good for placing on the jaw. Might be working with TMJ, something like that. You could also place them on the trapezius. You could place them on the arm, on the leg, anywhere like that. Okay, and if you're doing left and right side, you'd have one on the left side, one on the right side. Could also be used on the neck, and that will give you a good reading on the specific area. So now I'm going to unsnap this. Again, these are called triodes. This particular type is made by Thought Technology also. And there's another type we get from another company as well, called multi-biosensors. Now, this is another type of disposable electrode. These we call the UniGel, and each one of these is going to be one electrode. So if we compare it to the Triode, you see how close these are together. Well, when we place these, this is the closest they could be together. So you can see that's definitely further apart than it would be for the Triodes. So now if we're going to use this type, we don't snap it directly into the preamplifier. We use the extender cable, plug that in. So now we can snap these in. And so we use, in this case, we would use 3. The blue is the positive, yellow is negative. Those are the active sensors, and then the black is the reference or the ground. And just going back to if we were using the Triode, you have here plus, minus, and reference. So that would be equal to the plus, minus, and reference here. Okay, so with this, instead of putting this on the site that we want to record from, we're going to be putting these 3 on the site. So we would peel one off at a time. Peeling all 3 off makes it kind of clumsy and difficult to manage because they start sticking to each other and everything else. So you peel one off, and with this type you're not adding any of the cream or gel because these are adhesive and they're already pre-gelled, so there is conductive material in the adhesive. So when you peel these off, you stick them on and they will stick to the skin, and they also will be conductive. Alright, so now we would peel these off and we stick one on at a time. So placements that I would use this for, I might put them on the forehead. So I would have 3 going across the forehead like so. We'd have these 2 and this one. We would just have 1, not all 4. So it'd be 3. And what I do is I put the active ones right over the eyebrows, over the eyes, and then the ground or reference would go over the nose. So you just have 3 straight across. And another time I'll actually do a hookup and show actual recordings for another purpose, but this is really just to show the different types of sensors. So when you finish using these, you unsnap them, and then these get thrown away after one use. They are disposable, and especially now these days with more concern about infections and so on, you don't want to reuse them, certainly not with different people, and you don't want to be keeping them around after they've been used on someone anyhow. Now this is another type. This is called a 3BF3, and these are also made by multi-biosensor, that other company that we talked about. So these, we snap 3 cables on like so, and you notice these are 3 together. There is a perforation here, so if you wanted to, you could pull these apart and use them like you would use the Unigels. By the way, the Unigels are made by Thought Technology. And if we use this type, the 3BF3, they're already together. So doing a placement like the forehead is easier because you don't have to do them one at a time. They're all 3 together. The difference with these is that there is a recess here where the electrode is, and so you have to fill that space with conductive gel or cream. These are not pre-gelled, so you would just take some of this gel and you fill up the space there. Let's see what that looks like. I'll just put some in here. So this is what you would do. You put some gel in there. You do that for all three. And then you peel the backing off. There's a paper backing here. You peel that off. And then you stick it on, either could be on the forehead, another placement might be on the arm, extensor on the arm, or other places like the trapezius and so on. Alright, so those are the three types that I wanted to show you. And since I'm not going to use this right now, I'm just going to wipe that off. And throw that away. So then when we're done, we just unsnap these. Throw this away, and we have our cable all set to go for next time. So that's really what I wanted to show you today. If there's anything else we can do for you, just let us know. Website is biofeedbackinternational.com, and the office phone number toll free is 877-669-6463, and the non toll free is 914-762-4646. In case you're calling from outside of the US, that would be the best number to call. And you can also leave notes here, and you can email me, Harry at biofeedbackinternational.com. Also, I hope you will like the page if you haven't already, and tell other people, share it, and I will see you next time. Have a great weekend. So that's for Facebook Friday people, and for YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Check out all our other videos there.